All right, guys, so as part of our first kind of virtual lesson, I have a video here, so you can either watch this video as I narrate, or you can just go through the PowerPoint yourself. All right, so we're going to start World War II. World War II is a lot, so this is just going to be part one of World War II. All right, so but before we left for spring break and everything, we had some totalitarian leaders taking over the world at this time. So you have Japan, you have Tojo. Italy is Mussolini. Germany, we know, is Hitler. And Spain is Francisco Franco. So Japan is being very imperialistic at this time. They are seizing parts of China, like Manchuria. Italy, they're going to try to be imperialistic as well and invade Ethiopia. And of course, League of Nations doesn't do anything for either of these events. And then Spain, they're going to have a civil war because of Francisco Franco in our interwar years. So that's 1936 to 1939. Ottoman Empire, we talked about them when we talked about the Armenian genocide. So they're collapsing. A lot of the Turks are going to kill those Armenians because they think that they are in collusion with the Russians. They have a new president, and it's going to be a democratic system. So we're not going to have a totalitarian leader in Turkey. India, we talked about Gandhi. Gandhi's going to do his salt march, protest the salt tax imposed by the British. And they're still going to be going through this struggle of independence from Britain, even when World War II started. China, remember we talked about right before spring break, we have the nationalist Kai-shek in the 1930s, and they're trying to kind of root out communists, but you have communist rebellions led by Mao Zedong and his farmers' army. So they're going to try to take over, and eventually Mao Zedong and his army do. But those are just the struggles going on and the imperialistic actions going on around the world while Hitler is trying to take over Europe and World War II is starting. All right, so again, we talked about this when we talked about Hitler. So he's going to demilitarize the Rhineland. That's a vocabulary word, demilitarize. This means take out all the weapons. There's no allowed to have weapons or armies. And this is the area bordering France, so kind of where the Western Front used to be in 1936. And then you have Anschluss. So this is the union, this was a vocabulary word before, a union between Austria and Germany because Hitler loved the pure Austrians because he thought they were of the same race, the same German ethnicity. And then you have Sudetenland. Hitler's going to take over land there. And then you're going to have the Nazi-Soviet Non-Aggression Pact. So this was created between Hitler and Stalin, that they would not fight and they would each take and they would each invade Poland and take their half of Poland and would split that. So it's not really based on friendship, but they just don't want to kind of, Hitler doesn't want to be communist, and Russia or the Soviet Union doesn't want to be fascist like Hitler. So they just kind of like, we're going to avoid each other. You take half, I take half of Poland. All right. Invasion of Poland, September 1st, 1939. Start of World War II. Britain and France declare war on Germany. All right, appeasement, another word. So another vocabulary word, giving in to the demands of Hitler. Kind of the League of Nations looked the other way. People were dealing with the Great Depression in the United States and even in London. So people are trying to kind of get away from war. You have pacifism, which is like people are like, ugh, we don't want to go through that again. We're just gonna like turn our heads to make sure no one, no one is kind of involved in that. They don't want to get involved. So basically, everyone tries not to get involved until Hitler invades Poland. All right, so now is where I want you to start taking down notes in your notebook. If you're unsure of the page number, check your the handout that I have posted on Edsby with this. So the beginnings of World War II, and we have the battles of World War II. So you're going to put this part in pages 124 and 125 of your notebook. All right, so I do want you to copy down who is an Axis power and who is an ally power. So you have on one side, you have Germany. Hitler is going to be create an alliance with Italy and Mussolini, and they're also going to create an alliance with Japan in the Pacific on the other side of the world. Remember, this is a world war, so it's going to be fought in Europe and in the Pacific Ocean and in Asia. Our allies, you have Britain and France. A new one to our side this time is the Soviet Union and United States and China. So you have Axis powers versus the Allied powers in World War II. All right, so we know the start of World War II is September 1st, 1939. So this is when Hitler and Germany invade Poland from the west. All right, and then Soviet Union is going to invade Poland and the Baltic nations, so Lithuania and Latvia. If you see right here, Lithuania and Latvia, they are going to invade these from the east. All right, so if you need to finish copying this down, you can pause the video here, but if not, I'm going to keep on going. All right, here's another map. You can see Soviet Union attacking from the east, Germany attacking from the west. And here's another line. This is Poland, Krakow, Warsaw. It's going to be on the German side, the Nazi side, and then you have all these cities on the Russian Soviet Union side. All right, so war starts. You don't have to recopy down that first bullet point. So everything in red, make sure you get down, especially Hitler's going to invade Poland. We know that. And then really quickly, Denmark, Norway, and the Netherlands are going to be under Hitler's control in 1940. All right, so we have beginning battles of the war. So Hitler has invaded Poland, so France and Germany, France and England, I'm sorry, are going to declare war. On May 1940, so again, they're going to go through Belgium, poor Belgium. British troops were retreating, but they were trapped in a little town called Dunkirk between the Nazi army, so the Nazi army surrounding them here, and then you have the English Channel. So they're basically trapped on a beach. The British sent all available vessels, so they sent merchant ships, they sent people who owned their own sailboats out there to rescue people from the beach. And because even though Germany was bombing them and was surrounding them from all sides, but with these actions by England and sending, everyone that had an available boat, they were able to bring more than 300,000 soldiers back to Britain. So there is a movie on this, Dunkirk. If you can watch it, if you have the availability, that's awesome. You can tell your parents, oh, I have to watch this. It's not really graded. If you watch it, we can talk about extra credit assignment. This is a preview for it. It will not show on my recording device, but if you pull up the individual PowerPoint, you can play the trailer for the movie Dunkirk. All right, another beginning battle is the fallen French. Unfortunately, France does not do as well as England and London do. Italy attacked France from the south, and then German forces are attacking France from the northeast area. So with both of these sides attacking France, they surrendered June 22nd, 1940. Signing Hitler's surrender document. So unfortunately, they fall really fast and are under Nazi and Italian control. Again, if you need to finish copying, you can pause the video. All right, so May 1940, like we said, only took 35 days. Here's some pictures. They were able to come through Belgium and attack. All right, we have Operation Sea Lion. So again, he's going to try to invade Britain. He launched airstrikes on military bases in August of 1940. The Royal Air Force, RAF, you might hear that a couple times, they battled Germany's Air Force as well. But Germany decided to launch their lightning war on London and other cities targeting civilians. So again, we're going to have this total war where everyone's involved and civilians are going to get kind of caught in the middle here, unfortunately. So we are going to have a big high civilian death count at the end of this war. So Germany used their Blitzkrieg on the night of September 7th, 1940, and continued for 57 nights in a row, and then periodically until May. So that's 57 nights in a row. They're just like bombing them and going at them and not giving up, like constantly fighting them. But Britain did not surrender, so they held off longer than the French, and it was considered a win for Britain because they just were able to hold them off. They never surrendered, so that is a defensive win. And Britain's like, yes, we can do this. Their morale is boosted, and they're more determined than ever to beat Hitler and the Germans. All right, we have new technology. At this time, you have the lightning war where they just like hit them with everything they got. Airstrikes, bombs, so on and so forth. You also have radar during this time period. All right, war is going to go into Africa. Italy, we know, tries to invade Ethiopia down here. You can see Italian East Africa. This is where Ethiopia used to be. And they're going to go into Libya, so that green. Now Italy is going to control. Hitler is now going to control all of the pink areas. So Mussolini is going to come in and control the green. And then Hitler's going to come in and take over basically West Africa. And here is again kind of how Germany is spreading throughout Europe and the European continent, and even down into Africa. Eventually, they're not going to respect Russia anymore. They're going to take over all of Poland. They're going to take over some of the Soviet Union, so on and so forth. All right, so remember this map I showed you guys at the end of Nazism. So you have Hitler taking control. So all that blue is the Axis powers, and Hitler, they are going to take control and spread. So we're now in February 1940, and it's just going to spread across the continent. This is March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December 1940, and now we're in 1941 in February. March 1941, April, May, June, July. So Hitler's hit all of this area. This is October. So basically 2 years after we started, he has control of almost all of Europe, and you can see those parts of Africa that he has control of. And he keeps this control. We're now in 1942. And he's still expanding, and he's still able to keep that hold on the European continent. So the Allies now are coming back in. So about till 1943, he is expanding. So for almost 4 years, he's just expanding and expanding and keeping this control until the Allies push back. So this is the end of the part 1. So go ahead and make sure you get all those notes to make sure you definitely get the red. And then go ahead and watch part 2 video of this.